Lagers and Loudmouths, conversations unfiltered.
Welcome, thinkers and drinkers, on to episode 23. I'm here today with Ty. No special guest today. You guys get just the two of us. But before we get to our fun and our serious topic, Ty, what are we drinking today? This is Lagers and Loudmouths, after all.
Yeah, naturally, we have to have a beer on deck while we have this podcast. Today, we are drinking Toppy Rock from a Bridged Beer Company out of Knoxville, Tennessee. It is a New England Hazy IPA coming in at 7.1% ABV and a 3.96 rating on Untapped, which is pretty damn solid.
It is. It's good beer.
I haven't tried it yet. What do you think?
It's good. I hate it because it celebrates the Vols, who, as anybody who listened to our last episode knows, I do not like as a Kentucky fan. But as a beer, it's delicious.
Had a good game yesterday. I know you were watching it.
You know who did not have a good game yesterday?
Kentucky?
Kentucky. We lost to South Carolina as like 10-point favorites.
Ooh.
They beat us by like 21 points, too. It wasn't even close.
That's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, no, it's not. Not as a Kentucky football fan. That's just a normal season for us.
Honestly, I really like this beer.
It is. It's good.
Super orangey. Really orange forward, which is fitting, I think.
For the Toppy Rock?
For the Toppy Rock, yeah.
That orange glow of fresh toppy-like beacon shining bright. Its juicy hops on full displays. Rise glorious to the sight.
Yeah, those are words. Sure. No, overall, good job.
A bridge.
Yeah, check out a bridge in downtown.
Have you been to a bridge yet? It's out of our normal routes.
Yeah, I might have been there once or twice. I can't remember.
It's good. I mean, it's off of like exit 380 for those of you who know where we're talking about. But they've also got food, and their food is absolutely phenomenal as well.
I have been to their actual location.
We didn't make that happen then because their food is delicious, and they have obviously a lot of different beers that they don't have at the Oak Room. So
cool.
Yeah, shout out to Bridged.
All right. That being said, Cam, why don't you kick us off with our serious topic of the day?
All right. So we honestly had no idea what we were going to talk about until about 24 hours ago. Tyler and I were out hunting, our annual dove hunt that we go to at a friend's house. Shout out to Compadre. We love you. So we decided let's talk about hunting because obviously there are people out there that don't like it and don't agree with it, and then there are people obviously that think it's fine and it's an okay thing. So our serious topic is hunting a necessary practice in today's modern society?
That's a great question. Follow-up question to our serious topic question.
Yeah.
Are we talking just centralized to the United States, or are we talking worldwide? Because I think that does change the answer.
You think?
I do.
How?
I think that hunting is 100% necessary for some remote parts of the world.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, you talk about like people in like Africa who don't have a Walmart a mile down the road from them.
Exactly.
All right, fair enough. Let's stick with our country just for the sake of debate.
Yeah. Is it necessary?
Necessary is the key word here. Is it necessary? Probably not.
Well, I think that's a pretty easy question to answer. Is it necessary? Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Are you talking about from a sustenance standpoint, a necessity standpoint, kind of those things? I think overall, if I was going to give an off-the-cuff answer, in the United States, is it necessary, just leaving it at that? Probably not. Just because we are a first world country, we have a Walmart every 2 miles all over the country. Like, you do not necessarily need to go out in the woods and kill an animal to nourish your body to sustain life.
Agreed. I can't disagree with you 100%. You guys know I teach nutrition for a living. So yeah, obviously it's something we can do. So is it necessary? Absolutely not. Thanks. We'll see you guys on the next episode. The debate's over.
I mean, look at it. Could be easily be answered by looking at a vegetarian.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Obviously, no,
we
it's
have
not.
many of those.
Meat is not necessary to sustain life. So
you're not hunting vegetables if you pluck them out of the garden?
I guess you could consider that hunting. No, I like the different take on it. No, I guess you could definitely classify that. I mean, you hunt for mushrooms, right?
That's true.
So
a similar concept. Obviously, that's not what we're talking about.
No, honestly, this is a little bit more ambiguous than I thought it could be.
Probably not.
I do think hunting has important aspects to it, though, that have probably a greater benefit to the overall ecosystem, though.
Yeah, agreed.
If done properly.
Agreed. All right, so you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, just kind of like wildlife conservation kind of things. Invasive species, things like that. An invasive species comes in a lot of times. There's really not a limit or season on some things, so you can go out, cull that population, and try to sustain the natural wildlife ecosystem in your area.
Yeah, and we don't have the predator. I guess the predator environment that we used to have. Like there's not. I mean, you've seen like even in the last couple of years, they've started reintroducing wolves in some of the northeastern or northwestern parts of the U.S. To try and regulate the population. Because if we don't regulate the population, eventually we run out of space.
That's going to be an issue though, because out west they started to stop allowing people to hunt wolves. And I think in the next
that's true.
I think in the next 10 years, you're going to see an explosion in the wolf population.
And then they change laws and say you can't hunt wolves at that point. And
Exactly.
that's probably true. But at this point, we don't currently have enough of those apex predators to kill off like big deer, big elk populations. And eventually, again, there's only so much land.
Deer are rampant.
Oh, there's tons of them around
Yeah.
here. I run at Panther Creek State Park, which obviously you can't hunt at. So, I mean, there's not a day that I don't run that, there's not a day that I don't run that I don't see several baby deer, several mama deer out there just roaming around.
We got about a dozen of them that roll through our backyard every morning and evening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're everywhere. They're loaded up. So,
Yes, no, I agree from I will call it an ecosystem balance standpoint. I think it's a necessary thing that hunters are allowed to go out. And I think we in the U.S. do it quite well, and that it's not a free-for-all. I mean, you can't just go out and just kill whatever you want, whenever you want.
No,
anybody who knows anything about hunting knows that there are specific seasons and specific what they call bag limits on how many things you can take.
yeah. And I definitely consider myself pro hunting, pro outdoors, all that stuff. But I mean, you got to do it correctly, legally, ethically.
Of course.
You know, all of that stuff, because it is a privilege.
It is.
It's not a right. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things like,
That's interesting. It's not a right. Isn't it a right to eat?
sure, but I think it goes down to that necessity question we had earlier. If it was
I would argue that it's always a right to eat. Humans should always have food.
Sure.
So in saying that, so is it a right to hunt, or is it just a necessary part of being a living human being who needs sustenance?
Well, it's obviously not a right, because you have to. It's a privilege, and those privileges can be revoked, just like your driving privileges. And
No, I agree.
and
I'm just trying to make it for argument's sake. I mean, should it be a free for all? I don't think that would end well. Obviously, I don't think that it would end well. But
I think you definitely need regulation and monitoring and rules to go by, because if it was a free for all, I feel like we could really fuck up the ecosystem and the balance of all of the native species in whatever area pretty quickly if we just said, yep, open season, go for it. You can kill anything with any weapon.
yeah,
You know?
I mean, and hunting laws in the U.S. have only been around for a little over 120 or so years. It was late 1800s is kind of when we first got it. There was actually a law called the Lacey Act of 1900, which basically regulated this trade of wildlife and protected species. And obviously, as the population has grown, back then it probably wasn't as big of an issue because the population was significantly smaller, so you didn't have to worry about everybody going out and over harvesting.
I think with that, it's just like everything else. I think it's really good in moderation. And I mean, there's agencies in every state and even at the federal level whose job it is to do surveys and studies and collect data and do analysis on, you know, various species population sizes and making sure that they're still within a acceptable, you know, range and nothing's getting out of balance. So,
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, I trust that data because it needs to be analyzed, and if they're saying that these are the rules, then I have no problem following those rules.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they do play a big part. I wish we had somebody here who was anti-hunting. That's good. I think that would bring in a good discussion.
Yeah. So maybe we can play devil's advocate on ourselves. What are some anti-hunting kind of thoughts that we may be able to talk about?
Animal welfare concern. Obviously, people thinking that you shouldn't be just out randomly killing animals because it's unnecessary suffering of those animals. All right, and let me caveat: what if you're doing this for, again, the animal welfare aspect? What if you're doing it for trophy hunting?
Two thoughts. First, I want to go back to your point.
All right, go ahead.
I would argue that. I'm sorry. Say that first part of your point again.
The ethical concerns about the unnecessary suffering of animals.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen the natural life progression of a wild animal, but their death in the natural environment is not pretty.
No, it's usually
Very violent.
If it's some
and-
sort of predator, yeah, you're getting.
Yeah,
I mean,
very-
I love watching David Attenborough, and you see him. You see these tigers or lions and whatever
Oh, yeah,
jump on them.
Nature is savage, and if like a deer running its course on its life and dying at the end of its life, I would argue that
You
a
harvesting
well placed rifle or bow shot to the vital organs is a much more peaceful death than a natural death in the wild.
I can't disagree with that because at the end of the day, if you're a good hunter, and if you're not a good hunter, don't hunt. Make sure your skills are up to par to meet the needs of whatever you're trying to hunt. But if you're a good hunter, yeah, it should be a pretty quick, painless death for whatever you are hunting.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to the responsibility of the individual hunter too.
Agreed.
You need to be able to be very proficient at what you are doing, and you shouldn't be taking shots that are above your skill level, because at the end of the day, I think you do have to have respect for the animals that you're hunting. And
of course,
if you're just trying to make a shot to down an animal and you're not comfortable with that shot and you're not 100% confident before you pull the trigger or release that string, then you shouldn't be taking the shot.
everybody needs to watch. This is my my shout out to check out Meat Eater on Netflix. Steven Ranella. He's a very, very well-known conservationist and hunter in our country. He's got a ton of books. I've read most of his books, really good books. But the series on Netflix, if you're not into reading, series on Netflix, they're like 20, 25-minute episodes where he goes through different hunts. And he's big about what you were just talking about. Just like there are many episodes where he actually might not come away with something because he's like, I had a shot, but it wasn't a clean shot that I felt good about.
Right. And that's just responsibility.
That's responsible hunting. So yeah, everybody check out Meat Eater on Netflix.
I mean, yesterday, how many times did, we had shots at birds that we decided not to take just because of positioning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to make that conscious decision in the moment. I want to expand on your other point too. You brought up trophy hunting.
Trophy hunting. See, this is where it might get a little bit, I might kind of flip the script here.
Me personally, I don't necessarily have a problem with trophy hunting. I don't have a problem with it. I would not do it though. I don't care if other people do it, but for me, the hunting is about essentially harvesting an animal for sustenance for me.
Agreed.
It's about the challenge of going out into the wilderness and trying to take a wild animal.
Yeah, whereas trophy hunting, just kind of to make sure everybody's aware of what it is, it's basically you're taking some sort of animal to display whatever it is. Maybe it's the whole animal, maybe it's the antlers, maybe it's the skins, whatever it happens to be.
And I mean, with trophy hunting, obviously that's you get into a lot of stuff like exotic species, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, if you're doing it legally and ethically and you want a trophy out of it, I'm fine with that. But I want the meat and all the parts of the animal to be utilized to the most that they can be.
So you're okay with people like, and this is no political affiliation, I just remember this one off the top of my head, Eric Trump, Donald's son, going out and harvesting an elephant.
I don't mind that because, and a lot of people get bent out of shape about that stuff. What I don't think people realize is you can't just go to Africa and kill an elephant.
No, there's obviously, it's a setup.
They're tagged by the government as nuisance animals. It's typically an extremely old male who has run his life. He has reproduced all he can, and he's essentially a nuisance and a detriment to the remaining population of elephants. So a lot of times what a foreign government will do is tag that specific elephant as, a permitted hunt. And then some rich jackass from America will pay, $50,000 to go and shoot that elephant.
That's fair.
And then
all right, so I wasn't fully aware of how that process works. So that makes me feel a little bit better about it if it's an animal that is obviously no longer contributing to their society.
And I'm not saying other like unethical stuff doesn't happen over there, but that is how it's supposed to work. And, obviously the only thing people see is, some celebrity with a dead animal and everyone goes up in arms. But at the end of the day, if that person didn't kill that elephant, somebody was still going to have to kill that animal.
That's fair.
And the meat's harvested and feeds that local community.
See, I'm okay with that. As long as what's being used, that's where I have an issue with it. If you're trophy hunting for the simple sake of having a trophy on your wall and you're not actually utilizing that animal, I don't think that's okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're going to waste the animal and you just want the skin and the hide,
whatever it happens,
skull or whatever for a trophy, I don't like that. But
but no, all right, I agree. And
how do you feel about I can't remember what it's called, but it's essentially like exotic hunting farms where somebody down south will have, 500 acres and import species like zebras or gazelles and stuff like that and have them in this 300-acre fenced-in area. And you're literally going out there to hunt it.
All right, so I'll tell a personal story. So I've done this not with exotic animals, but with bird. I've done this with quail. I went to a local place about an hour from here where they basically you call them and you say, hey, I want to come this day. You pay your $300, whatever it happens to be. And then the morning of, the guy will go, they kind of hide him in brush. And then he's basically showcasing his dog's skills. The dogs go in, the dogs will point the quails, and then we'll tell the dogs to get him. And then the dogs, obviously the birds fly out and shoot them. I think I'm okay with it in that aspect, but I think as a hunter, I think most hunters would not consider that hunting.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see anything inherently wrong with it.
I don't either.
But I'm more of the, if everything that is utilized, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm more of a purist standpoint.
I agree. I think you have to earn it. I feel like you have to earn the hunt.
And I get it's a very spread out area. Like it's not like you're walking into a cage.
But
and
you
shooting
still
an animal.
know within this 300 acres, I'm going to have a pretty good shot at killing something.
Exactly. And I don't think I would personally enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I might enjoy doing that if I literally wanted to harvest meat of something very specific.
Yeah.
But no, I'm more of the purist aspect. If I want to hunt an animal,
Needs to be in the wild.
I want to get in their territory. I want it to be the challenge, the
hiking in 10 miles, hiking out 10 miles with a carcass on your back. Yeah, that kind of thing.
The prehistoric kind of, ancestry that we have. That's kind of where I go with it. And I want to do it correctly and ethically and skillfully. And
that's not to say there's anything ethically wrong with doing it on those farm stages, but I think most real hunters will tell you that that's not hunting.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that dialogue for sure. At the end of the day, that person has a business that they're running.
Of course. I don't fault them.
There's a market for it.
Yeah, I don't fault them at all.
No, I don't either. Like I said, as long as...
Let's wrap up trophy hunting. What do you think?
Yeah, I really don't... It kind of goes back to my point before. I really don't have an inherent problem with it as long as the animal is being dispatched ethically with a well-placed shot with the correct tools to take down that specific animal and to minimize suffering of that life as much as possible.
And I'll just add on to that the meat is being utilized.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. If you're just killing for the sake of killing, just have a trophy on the wall, I think you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
But as long as everything's being utilized, yeah, all right, I'm okay with it.
No.
And as long as we're not hunting endangered species. Like you get some of these people who go out and they'll hunt things that obviously they shouldn't be hunting. That's not okay. But
poaching.
Yeah.
That's
a whole different. That's not hunting at that point.
No, that's unethical.
I guess technically by definition it is, but from an ethical standpoint, it's not.
Correct.
All right, so that's one good kind of con against. I think we've kind of debated that. So let's go back to a good pro. Obviously, one of the biggest reasons that we have Teddy Roosevelt. I love Teddy, one of my favorite presidents. I wish I could have lived during his time. But he started like all the park systems in our country, and obviously those park systems take money to fund, right? Mm-hmm. Hunting and hunting license and all those things provide a ton of money. Let me give you some stats here. So in 2022, state agencies collected over $900 million from license sales. They've collected all of your taxes associated with firearms. It's called the Pittman-Robertson Act of 1937. But it basically generated another $700 million on annual basis. So in total, we're kind of coming together at about $2.7 billion annually to fund all these state and parks. So, your Yosemites, all your big parks that everybody talks about and they flock to, and we got the Smoky Mountain National Park an hour from us, which is, did you know, the most visited park in the country?
I did know that. That's kind of cool.
It is pretty cool. But all of those take money to run, obviously. And there's not inherently a ton of money coming in to walking in the forest.
Right.
So hunters...
All those national parks are free for people.
Exactly. And so hunters, they fund that. The fact that you have a national park and the fact that I have a state park half a mile from my house, hunters have funded that.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I think it's a very, very positive way to look at hunting, is even if you don't agree with the killing of the animals, we all, I think, can inherently agree that we need more protected lands.
Yeah.
And without hunting, we don't have those protected lands.
And funding to maintain them. I mean,
Yeah.
the Smoky Mountain National Park's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like I'm fine paying money for the privilege to hunt, knowing that that money's going back into the ecosystem, so to speak.
Yeah, I remember last year I had a debate with a guy who was actually had a similar dove hunt, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't pay for my license this year." I was like, "Come on, dude, it's $30. Pay for your license. I don't. It's not the. Yeah, you're probably not going to get caught at the end of the day, but you're funding this. You're funding what we want to be out here doing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hunting without a license, legally you're poaching.
Technically, I guess you are. Yeah, by definition.
So it's like, yeah, dude, and listen, there's different levels of stamps and stuff you need. Like, it's not just $30 and you get to hunt whatever you want. Like, we had to get a migratory bird stamp to hunt the doves. You know, with deer, you need tags. Like, there's regulations on each animal. So it's like, I know people bitch and moan and say, oh man, this is getting so expensive and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I'm with you. I don't necessarily mind paying the money for the privilege to do it, knowing that my money is going to something good and something that myself and everybody else in the country and frankly around the world can come to these national parks and visit and enjoy themselves and enjoy the nature.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we all love them, and if you love them, then you have to be. I'm not saying you have to be pro killing, but you have to be pro hunting, don't you? If you've set foot in a national park, I mean, kind of by way, don't you have to be?
Logically, it makes sense. I'm sure people will disagree with you.
Of course. That's why I wish we had somebody here who was anti-hunting.
Yeah,
I don't know many people, though, that are.
Not down here, no.
No, we're in East Tennessee, so yeah. I'm sure there's some. All right, you got any other like cons that people might argue against? Obviously, we are very both pro, as you can tell from the conversation, as long as it's done correctly.
No, I mean, you have I guess one of the cons, and I think this kind of affects even hunters too. It's like, even people who are pro hunting, I think one of the cons is, you know, your ability to deal with taking a life, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's maybe not a con, but more of a mental dilemma, I would say.
It is.
You know?
But and my argument would be, then can you go to Walmart and pull a chicken out of the chicken freezer? Are you okay pulling ground beef out of the ground beef freezer?
Well, you're 1 degree removed, so you feel better about
I know,
it.
but
you're not physically watching a chicken lose its life.
No, and that's fair. I think if we all had to do that, you might have more respect for the animal.
For sure.
More respect for the food.
For sure. I think hunting definitely puts that into you, because it's like, yeah, you want to do it in an ethical way. You want as little suffering as possible, but you know, taking a life involves that to a degree.
Agreed. And so, it's a hard thing to do for some people. And I don't fault them for that.
No, me neither.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I think at the end of the day, if you are a meat eater, if you consume meat in our country or in our world, you have to kind of be okay with that.
And honestly, I would rather watch a dove I shot die in that field than to go into a commercial chicken factory and see how they
100%
treat those animals.
It's terrible. I don't know if I can give you guys one piece of advice again. This is going back to my nutrition teaching. Pasture-raised eggs, the only ethical way to eat eggs. It costs you like $5 a dozen, so I know you're going to complain about that, but it's actually the only ethical way to eat eggs. All right, I digress. All right, so yeah, share your thoughts with us. Again, I hope we know somebody out there who is anti-hunting, and we are happy to maybe come back to this topic. If we have somebody who's anti-hunting, shoot us a message, and we will gladly come back to this topic and have you on. Otherwise, yeah, share your thoughts on, do you think hunting is necessary? Again, I think necessary might be a little bit of a play on words there, because necessary, probably not. Although at this point, after we've debated it, maybe it is necessary. It's necessary that we have national parks, right? It's necessary that we have conservation. Maybe not.
I agree. I mean, I'd rather have them than not have them.
Of course, and I think
what's
most
the
people would
alternative?
agree.
Commercialism, bigger cities,
That's
more
awful.
Yeah,
I hate it. I like going to visit bigger cities, but I couldn't imagine living in one.
No, me neither. And I think there's there's probably data to back this up, but I'm talking out of my ass here. But there has to be some correlation with like the wilderness and mental health.
Oh, actually,
well-being.
fun fact! I actually saw this the other day. There's some random ass stat I saw. I did not confirm it, but I would assume it's true because I can speak from experience. But spending like 20 minutes in the wilderness outside actually reduces cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, pretty significantly. So yeah, I mean, there you go. You just ended the debate right there.
Nice.
Cortisol. It's over. Don't come at us, non-hunters. We got it. We'll just go back to science.
All right. Anything else you want to add to this one?
No, I think we've kind of covered this. Again, I would love if somebody is anti-hunting to have you on, and we will definitely rehash this with respect, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. And again, the whole essence of this podcast is to critically think and think in ways that you might not have.
That's always our
and
goal.
we're willing to be wrong and to have our minds changed.
I love being wrong.
That's how you grow as people. So.
Yep. All right.
I digress.
All right. What are we talking about for our fun topic?
All right. Fun topic. Kind of playing off the whole animal topic. If you could choose the skill of one animal, what would it be and why?
That's a tough one. I was thinking about this, and I mean, there's a lot of fun animals out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have one off the top of your head?
I got a couple. I think it would be really cool to have the ability to camouflage like one of the octopuses, or
I do love an octopus,
or the chameleon or something like that. Somewhere you can change the exterior, color of your skin to blend in with your surroundings.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. I don't know how practical. I mean, it'd be pretty practical.
I was gonna say, well, how would you use that in real life?
I don't know.
As a human being,
I don't know.
You can
probably
sneak into somebody's beer fridge and camouflage to the back of the beer fridge.
Probably like a bar trick, really.
That would be it.
It could scare the hell out of people.
Might get some good tips.
You could get some good tips.
That would be fun.
I like that. My other one, flight, obviously would be really cool.
Yeah, I was going with flight, and I was very specific with my flight. I wanted to go be a peregrine falcon.
I Googled that while I was on the toilet upstairs.
Nice, because I mean, it's
200-mile-an-hour dive.
Over 240 miles is kind of what it can do. I mean, I think you're just kind of an apex predator at that point. You're flying, but then you're also an apex predator, so it's pretty cool in that regard. So I think being a falcon would be cool.
Speed would be cool, like a cheetah. Yeah.
I was watching Animal Planet last night, one of the David Attenborough ones, and it was cheetah chasing a baby water buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as I was watching it, I'm the physiologist. I was looking at his legs, I was like, how can I make myself faster by watching his physiology? And obviously, I don't only have two legs, so I can't. But yeah, that would be pretty cool to be able to run that fast. Swimming like a fish would be pretty cool.
I was just about to go there. Being able to breathe underwater, kind of a thing, would be cool.
Be really cool.
That'd be fun. There's a lot of good characteristics that you could take.
Well, all right. So let's flip the script then here. Then what skill or characteristic of an animal would you not want?
Ooh,
smelling like a skunk.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I don't want to have a smelly ass. I already have that anyway. Ask Tiff. But
yeah, but I mean, I don't think the skunk thinks it smells.
That's a good point.
So
it's like when you smell your own farts, you're like, not that bad. But
yeah.
when somebody else smells them, you're like, God damn, Tyler.
The social repercussions would be, I think it'd be fine to for you, but the social repercussions would be detrimental.
Yeah, everybody know Tyler's coming to the bar tonight. Oh man, Tyler's here.
Skill I would not want.
That's a tough one.
That's a hard one. Because I mean, animals are so different than us. So
yeah, and ultimately their skills play off of their ability to live.
Yeah.
What about being like a super, super slow?
Yeah, like a sloth. Yeah, that wouldn't work with my lifestyle.
I would punch you.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it, Tyler, get to the point.
Yeah, couldn't do that.
You remember that scene? I don't know if you've seen this because you don't have kids, but Zootopia. There's a scene in Zootopia where there's and this is so very well written by Zootopia. But basically Zootopia is about animals living in a city like humans would. But at the DMV, there's a sloth. So it's very appropriate, well written. So this sloth is like up there, this rabbit, who obviously rabbits go very fast, is trying to get something accomplished at the DMV, and she's in a hurry. And the sloth is like, hello. So that might not be a very good skill in our society.
No.
But it could be fun.
I don't know. Being a chicken would probably be annoying. I don't want to eat all my food off the ground and peck at things.
And at the end of the day, do they even have the capability to think?
I am not a animal scientist.
I mean, I'm not either, but I mean, like, they don't have thoughts. I mean, maybe they have some sort of random ass thought, like, oh, next bug or something like that. But
they have instincts.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually have like thoughts like we have thoughts.
We should get Michelle on the podcast. She would probably know the answer to that.
She would probably debate us that chickens have many thoughts and personalities.
Huh.
Well, she's probably not wrong. I mean, I'm not going to I'm not going to argue with it.
I don't know. We'll ask her next
time.
What
about the kiwi? You know, the kiwi, it's a bird that does not fly.
That would be
That's got to suck. Your friends looking at you, your other bird friends.
like like a penguin kind of too. Like I would want to be a penguin.
Yeah, a kiwi's
Be
a flightless bird, so they basically just have to forage on the ground as a bird.
Yeah, that sounds not ideal.
Evolutionarily, you think that? I wonder how far removed they are from like dinosaurs, because we know like lots of birds are
Birds and dinosaurs are very closely related.
So I wonder if a kiwi's closer due to the fact that it can't.
Wasn't a chicken a descendant of the velociraptor?
I think so. Yeah,
That's
Velociraptor or T-Rex, one of those two.
That kind of went to a different evolutionary direction.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what would be fun, and this is just because it would just be fun to lay around and do nothing every day. To be a panda bear. Panda bears
Just eat bamboo.
Just eat
and
bamboo and
hang out.
eucalyptus, and because I think eucalyptus somewhat gets them high.
No, that's koalas.
Is that koalas? Okay, all right, that's koalas.
The panda bears eat bamboo. Koalas eat the eucalyptus.
Does it really?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. That takes away my point of just laying around and getting high all day.
You can be a freaking
I can be a koala then. All right.
change
But
the animal.
pandas too. They're just kind of like you see these videos of pandas just kind of falling off of like trees and.
I think pandas are. I think people's perception on them is wrong because you see these big, like, cute, cuddly things, but they will murder your ass.
Really? I mean, that's the thing. You're
I
right.
think that's true. Maybe we should Google that. I might be wrong, but I do think that pandas can be extremely violent.
You know, it'd be a fun one. Like while you're Googling, to be a naked mole rat.
Why?
Because you just get to burrow around, you have terrible vision, and you're naked all the time. No hair, no nothing.
You could do that now.
You're right.
dude.
I could do that now. All right. We have a topic for after the podcast today. I'm just going to burrow around my house naked with no hair.
All right. Giant pandas are solitary and peaceful animals, which will usually avoid confrontation, but if escape is impossible, they will certainly fight back. As cuddly as they may look, pandas can protect themselves as well as most other bears by using their physical strength and powerful jaws and teeth. So, I mean, it's a bear.
It is a panda bear.
It's still a bear.
Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could probably kick your ass if need be.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't want to fight.
No, I don't want to find out through that. What are some other good skills?
I mean, obviously, all the swimming, that would be really cool to be able to
Yeah.
swim very, very well.
What's that fish? Like the marlin that can swim like 60 miles an hour or
Yeah.
something like that? That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Marlins are fast. Swordfish.
Yeah.
I've caught a swordfish once.
That's cool.
I did ethically put it back.
Nice.
Yeah. The boat guy asked us, "Do you want to take this?" We were in Mexico on a vacation. He's like, "Do you want to? You can take this home and you can cut it." I was like, "I live like many hours away."
Yeah,
guy.
what are you gonna do with it?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I could technically have shipped it, but no,
Nah.
we put it back. It was fun to do though.
Yeah, no, it's always a good time.
Yeah, that would be a fun one.
Oh man, having the barb from a stingray, that'd be cool.
Oh, R.I.P.
Stab-
Steve Irwin.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Stab people you don't like.
That's good. Where does it come out of on a human?
That's a good point. I don't know. It'd be cool to have it like in your under your
So
forearm.
you're like Spider-Man and you flip your wrist.
Yeah, kind of like Spider-Man, but with a
It's like,
barb.
bam,
Yeah,
you son of a bitch.
that'd be cool.
That'd be good. Eagles obviously be any big like fast flying bird would be fun. I think
Owls, vision of an owl would be cool.
that would be cool.
They got really good eyesight.
And they sleep during the day, come out at night. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Dolphins, obviously, dolphins are a good answer because
Super
they're intelligent.
Yeah,
Arguably, are they like the second most intelligent thing on Earth?
I would say they're pretty damn close.
Obviously, humans far superior in terms of intelligence, but as far as animals, yeah, I think
elephants
they're
are pretty intelligent too.
yeah, and obviously there's lots. We're not downgrading
Yeah.
animals. There's lots of smart animals, but I think in terms of like being
I would say dolphins are probably the most human-like animal.
I mean, we all grew up watching Flipper.
What's that?
Did you watch Flipper growing up?
No.
Oh, man.
I don't watch movies. Remember?
It's not a movie. It was a TV series
Oh.
back in the day.
Definitely not. Then
All right. Fair enough.
before my time.
Fair. It was before my time, too, but it was like one of those, I think, TV Land shows that would still
Oh
come
yeah,
on.
we did used to watch TV Land sometimes.
Yeah, you may have watched it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, your final decision. What animal are you being if you get to pick? Be fast.
Yeah, fast is cool.
Fast is fun. And flying. I get two things. I get to be fast and I get to fly and I get to eat little rodents. So that could be fun.
And you get places fast.
I
which
get
is
everywhere
cool.
fast. Yeah, which I hate driving, so
Yep.
that's good for me.
Cool, man. Why
All
don't
right.
we take it into our hot take of the week?
Hot takes.
That's so hot.
That's so hot. All right. You want me to? You want
Kick us
to take it?
off.
All right, kick us off. All right, and this one might ruffle some feathers with some of you males out there.
All right.
My hot take is there's no such thing as an alpha male anymore. Or there never was. Oh, well, no, there was, let's say caveman times. But the idea of an alpha male in today's modern society is just whoever is the biggest and the loudest and thinks they can be the best. And that's just absolutely asinine. Yes, you can be the biggest and you can be the loudest, but that doesn't make you the best.
So how do you define alpha male?
So
then?
an alpha male is basically the way I think of it is from an animalistic standpoint. An alpha male in an animal setting is the one that leads the pack. So it's like, and the idea of alpha males actually originated from a wolf study, a study of wolves in which wolves in captivity at that. So that's already one sort of error in the kind of whole study there. But they saw that there was some sort of hierarchical dominance. Like obviously there was this one male wolf who tended to lead the pack, and he was doing most of the mating. But later research on wolves actually revealed that when wolves are in the wild and not in captive, there's not this much of this alpha that goes on in that. Actually, it's more of a kind of a community. And I would argue that, and the reason I bring this up is because you see on social media these days, these guys, Dan Bilzerian, Joe Rogans of the world, they like, oh, I'm the alpha male. That doesn't exist in today's society.
I don't know. You don't think it exists at all?
I think there's people who are bigger and louder, but I don't think it's necessary to live and thrive as a society.
Well, that's not what you said.
Bigger and louder doesn't necessarily make you better.
You never said anything had to, thrive as a society. You just said it doesn't exist.
No, I think there are people who think they are, but they are not.
Of course. Oh, yeah. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, I think there are people out there who think they are alpha males, but in our society, as human beings in our modern culture, it is absolutely pointless, serves zero purpose. Can you be bigger and louder? Yeah. You got to think from an evolutionary standpoint, the ability to be bigger, louder meant you mated more, meant your skills as a human being were passed on to the next generation, and that was appropriate back then.
But you don't think that exists now?
I don't think it's necessary. No. And does it? No, exist?
I don't think it's necessary. But somebody is the biggest and the best at something, and I would consider them alpha at that particular discipline.
No, I agree. They might be alpha at that particular discipline, but are they an alpha male in terms of the superior? Like, are they a better male than you or I? I would argue no. And I would argue maybe they are at that one particular thing. Like, are there better baseball players than me? Of course. Are there people smarter than me? Of course.
I think it's different in humans, too, because we're not primitive anymore.
Exactly. And like I said, back in caveman times, alpha males made sense.
Yes.
Because they had to pass on their lineage to the next generation, survival of the fittest.
Sure.
But I don't think that is a thing anymore. And I think these guys on social media claiming, I'm the alpha male, they've got social self-esteem.
It's a perception thing.
They got self-esteem issues, and they need to feel validated by other people. That's kind of my takeaway.
They're trying to scam people and make money.
That's what it is.
Buy my supplements. Buy my workout video.
I'm an alpha male.
Yeah.
I've took anabolic steroids, and I look bigger than you. Yeah. And that's my takeaway, is that I don't think in modern society, don't get caught up in that bullshit. That's all it is. It's just BS.
Sure.
There's no reason for it. It doesn't need to exist anymore. We're not survival of the fittest anymore.
God, yeah, you got that right.
I mean, it really is. We're gonna continue as our population until we don't anymore.
We protect the dum-dums.
Idiocracy is getting closer and closer. Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
God damn it.
I've never seen any movie ever.
Kate's gone for the next 4 days. Your goal is to watch Idiocracy.
All right.
You'll enjoy it.
Is it a comedy?
It is.
All right.
You will actually enjoy it, but you will also, as you're watching it, like, holy hell, this is becoming our modern society.
All right. I'll try to watch it before we leave.
All right, good. Then you gotta. We'll come back to this.
All right. Cool.
Sorry, that was a long hot take.
Yep, that's fine. That's okay. Mine's pretty short. My hot take is go outside.
I love outside.
Yeah. It's getting to be fall weather in East Tennessee. Bonfires, the leaves are changing. It's nice and cool. Great cookout weather. You can play some games in the yard. You can go on a walk. Anything you want. But go outside. Don't be a hermit. Don't be tied to your bright, shiny rectangle on your couch.
Very appropriate as we're talking about hunting. Not necessarily for hunting. You don't have to go outside and hunt. But again, as I said earlier, there was a study that said cortisol levels decrease simply by being outside.
Yeah.
So
or go to a restaurant and sit on the patio.
Yeah.
Just be outside. Enjoy your surroundings.
You know who just got really excited?
Who?
The mosquitoes. I hate them. They
Yeah.
love me so much.
Dude,
I
they were
wish-
all over us yesterday morning.
They really. I don't know. I don't know what the logic is. There is some sort of reason that some people attract mosquitoes more.
I think isn't there blood type?
No, that's a myth. It
Oh,
it used to be thought that it was blood typing, but it's pretty equal among blood types. I think it might be hormonal, maybe something like that. But yeah, I'm a mosquito magnet. But you're right. It's getting colder, so they're going to go away soon, which does make it easier.
But yeah, that's my hot take.
I like it.
Short, sweet, to the point.
It's good hot take. Go outside, get off the damn phone, and all that fun stuff.
All right, why don't you take us away, Cam?
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Lagers and Loudmouths episode 23. As we said, if there's anybody out there, genuinely, we mean this, if there's anybody out there who is anti-hunting, we'd love to bring this topic back up in the future, so we would have you on and we could discuss this, because I'm like I said, I'm always willing to listen to other people's opinions. So yeah, and then in the comments of Instagram, wherever you follow us, tell us which animal you would like to be and why.
Thank you for tuning in to Lagers and Loudmouths. Be sure to never miss an episode by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast streaming service. If you would like to provide feedback or suggest a topic for a future episode, please reach out to us at lagersandloudmouths@gmail.com.